Some places do not wait to be loved. They simply remember. The villa had been standing quietly among the trees for years. But the day he arrived, even the wall seemed to recognize him. He did not enter as a stranger. He entered as someone expected. The doors opened without protest. The corridors softened their silence. And somewhere within the forgotten wing, a long resting memory stirred. Let me tell you about the day he arrived at the villa. Chapter 1: The villa that welcomed him. At the edge of the town, with a very little habitation, there stood a beautifully structured estate surrounded with greenery. The estate stood secluded there like a small little secret none wanted to claim. A big iron gate at its entrance locked and curtailed the entry of people. But as far as one's eyes could see, was a massive built structure with a garden of overgrown wild plants and grass. Trees were all tall enough to shade the living forms underneath it. Its walls bore the stains of years, rainwater carving long, dark veins down the stone. The roof sloped with ivy crawling over the facade, with thick ropes clutching the window ledges and shutters. The villagers passing by often turned their faces away, muttering, "The house is rather too big and quiet," and that even birds kept their distance. Young Eamon was now asked to move into such a big house, to live in one of the rooms of this house. Eamon's family lived in Ireland, and this property was ancestral to them, purchased a long time ago. But since he was very fascinated by Indian culture, people, he accepted to come and stay here and establish his own goodwill. Eamon, in his 30s, curious, with his highly ambitious and hardworking attributes, was confident enough to do something good on this foreign land. The only big issue was a language constraint. His fair white skin, tall height, and a very humble way of talking always attracted people towards him. Though the locals could not understand his words, they found themselves captivated watching his face intensely whenever he talked or asked for a favor. When their innocent silence met his request, Eamon would simply smile, as if answering their wordless response with quite warmth. That morning, he approached the grand estate, which would be his new home. The gate bloomed before him, tangled with wild vines and overgrown plantation, indicative of neglect of the estate for years. With steady hands, he pushed it open. The rusted hinges protesting with screech that echoed through the untamed ground. Lots need to be done here," he muttered to himself. "To begin with, this gate, and then this wild-grown jungle needs to be cleaned." As he moved inside, his eyes scanned the estate with calm curiosity. Eamon, walking through the tiny garden passage, with a few locals following him, reached the building corridor. For the locals, the estate looked so magnificent and vast. The structure held on strong pillars, and the beauty of the creepers gave it a rich look of an English bungalow. If this beginning made you feel something, just one word in the comments would mean a lot. Did it feel like an arrival or a memory? Eamon felt like a king, the owner of such kingly estate, and people were blindly following him as his subjects to discover his royal residency. Each corner seemed to whisper stories of the past, of laughter and footsteps long faded. Eamon felt excited and a strange thrill at the thought of breathing life into it again. Eamon approached one of the rooms, its tall wooden door standing proudly in front of him, framed by delicate moldings that had withered gracefully with time. He pushed the door open, and everyone was astonished to see a vast space with golden sunlight filtering from among the faded curtains, casting intricate shadows across the polished wooden floor. This was his room, with a tall ceiling, big airy windows, and great wooden cushioned furniture. Eamon ran his fingers along windsill, tracing the patterns of time, and muttered again to himself, "This place? It needs a life again." Within moments, a few of the curious locals appeared in the room, carrying dusters and brooms to help Eamon with the cleaning of the room. Like him, they were even excited to bring life into this big mansion. Where Eamon had never asked them for help, they volunteered to make the place dust-free for living. Eamon knew that they would not understand his words, so smiled at them encouragingly, and his warm eyes expressing a silent gesture of thanks. He joined them, and everyone started putting on the efforts of cleaning the mansion. The cleaning was not less than a playful ritual, with laughter echoing across the room. Battles were fought to bring down the cobwebs to feet. Eamon moved slowly, rather ceremoniously, wiping the wooden floor with care, polishing the old furniture and adjusting the curtains so that the sun rays could sparkle the glow of every little thing, from the base to the tall roof of the room. Now the room was rich, with the fragrance of fresh wood mingled with subtle, sweet aroma of the flowers drifting in from the garden, and the faint, comforting fragrance of the cleanser's herbs. It was a scent born of efforts, of care, and of shared joy, carrying warmth, laughter, and unspoken thankfulness. The room has completely been transformed. Light danced across the polished surface, shadows softened, and every detail, from the carvings of the chair to the delicate designs on the walls, glimmered with newly found life. Where the locals helped with the cleaning as a welcoming gesture, Eamon gladly handshook them all and extended his friendship without words. That night was almost calm, and Eamon could breathe the pure, clean air, and soon fell asleep, lulled by the distant strains of Indian wedding songs floating through the darkness. If you enjoy stories that unfold slowly and linger even after they end, you may want to stay. This is Pillow Talk Tales